Welcome to the Nexus Unloaded podcast. This is Will Crozier.
And I'm Zach Congonis. We are here to bring you the best solutions to your lifting problems. Through our real-world experience, we hope to break things down in a digestible, applicable, and entertaining way.
So the boys are wearing their blang blang.
Yeah, well, we already wore it in the last one, so I didn't know if you wanted to wear it again.
Yeah, pimping.
Pretty fancy. Black, red, like it.
Ready to go for the novice comp. All right, so today we are here with Coach Jace from our Townsville, from Nexus Townsville Gym. Well, actually, I've known you a lot longer than that. Yeah. I didn't know how to introduce you. I was like, client, coach, all of it. You've been around Nexus and myself for a while. You're actually technically, I think, the longest standing Nexus client.
I think it was 2015.
Yeah, it would have been 2015. Yeah. Would have been maybe 16, maybe. I don't know, but one of those is long enough.
Long time.
Yeah, and now, like I said, you're coaching out of at the gym in Townsville and running the head coach position up there, just putting everybody through their paces. And you're down here visiting today for the novice comp, ready to hang out, do some back spotting, enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah, see what this gym's all about down here. There's a different atmosphere to the one up Townsville.
Is it? What's the difference?
These guys hug a lot more.
With what?
These hug a lot more.
We're an affectionate bunch.
You can't do that in Townsville.
People stink up in Townsville because it's so sweaty and hot.
Sort of younger demographic too.
In here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like the Townsville space was originally formed, like 8-9 years ago. Yeah. So there's just people that have been around for a lot longer.
Powerlifting in general, actually lifters in general are getting younger.
Yeah.
Like I go to Worlds down the road and there's bound to be like a gang of 10 fucking 15-year-olds hogging the leg press for 3 hours. Guarantee it. It's just, I don't know if the gyms have become a babysitting service or whatever now.
Oh, it definitely is. Richie's been here for like the last 5 days.
He was here when I was training this morning.
Yeah, he lives here. He lives under the stairs.
It's like Caleb up in our gym.
There's always someone though, but we're definitely a lot more affectionate. Like after spending the time that I did up in Townsville versus down here, I don't know if that's just because Alex is a very affectionate fellow. He's a very loves the hugs and the fist bumps and all that sort of stuff, and that definitely carries over into just the whole culture anyways. But
both strong communities though. I think they both get around each other, but maybe in slightly different ways.
Yes, more fist bumps up there, more hugging down here.
Not hugging me though.
No, you stink.
So usually we kick these off by going through a very quick, I guess, summary of your life, not outside
of lifting.
Yeah,
training,
outside of lifting. Yeah.
I've watched enough.
So
yeah. And it's meant to be capped at a certain amount of time, but we're pretty flexible.
It was the tell us about yourself life story in 59 seconds, elevator pitch. Without anything training and nutrition related.
Yeah, because we'll go into that a lot after.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to time you.
Yeah, we've never once abided by it, so we won't start now.
All right, tell us about yourself.
So grew up country New South Wales, little town called Candos. Australia's biggest producer of cement back in the day.
Oh, what a claim. Is it when you drive in the town, is there a massive block just
shut down now? Back when I was growing up there, it was.
Okay.
Big block of concrete.
Yeah, had a population of about 2,000 people.
Yeah. Nice.
So pretty much school life, primary school, high school, grew up there.
Yeah.
Real tight community, just pretty much played every sport there was. Finished school, did a couple of labouring jobs, then joined the army.
Concreter?
No. Joined the army and then pretty much spent 21 years in the army.
Yeah.
Moved around all the east coast of Australia. Become a physical training instructor in the army. Did that for about 15 years.
Yeah.
Finished up in Townsville. And then,
took those skills to the wider community.
To Nexus Townsville.
Yeah, love it.
In between, you've done a lot of different things, though.
Yep.
You're quite an adventurer.
Yeah,
probably the person I know that spends the most time on the beach ever. I think half the time when we do calls during the beach.
Yeah, when I'm not in the gym or training, just try and get out and adventure much as I can. Free morning, free weekend, beaches, reefs, islands, just anything I can. Skydiving, spearfishing, whatever's going. I'll try and get away and do it.
In the sun.
Yeah.
Getting that tan.
He's a golden boy.
I guess growing up in country New South Wales in the inland, probably, admire the beach and everything a bit more. And just
we were pretty lucky. Like in the summer, Dad used to take us to Manly Beach probably every second, third weekend.
Nice.
So it was only about 2.5 hour drive each way. So,
and Mickey told me that you have wrestled crocodiles, and
I wanted to bring that up. Fuck you.
Just to add to the, we're really building a picture of you just being this fucking Tarzan.
Concrete eating Tarzan.
Had to do a bit of survival training in the army, and we got around some crocs and stuff like that.
Dugong?
Yep, dugong, turtles. Pretty much whatever we could eat.
You weren't involved in this conversation, that's why.
Nah, I just can imagine in the army, they're like, all right, we got fuck all to do.
Let's go hunt some crocs.
Train exercise out with like North Force.
Survival, yeah.
Yeah. So with Aboriginal communities up there, it was a pretty good couple of weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Just went out bush and they just left you with nothing for like a week or something like that, right?
After they trained us up for a week, and then they left us to fight for ourselves for a week.
Different to me in the Navy.
Jason Dundee.
Just put me on I think the most we had to do was sit in a boat, like a rescue boat, for like a fucking day. And we just sat in a circle just playing games or whatever. And then, you had nothing to do. You're sitting in this fucking rescue craft and you're just sitting there like, you got the little water filter out, like, just fun drinking water. One person's lookout out of the top. And then, that was about the closest thing we did to that, to survival. The rest of the time,
Navy's hardcore.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, Townsville is definitely like army-based town. So that's why you went back up there. Because obviously, like, we met Jason, we'll get into this a little bit later, down here, 2015, 2016, whenever it was. And then you went up to Townsville to get back into the army.
Yes, I took a year-long service leave when we guys met on the Gold Coast, and then I was still posted to Toowoomba at that stage, and then finished that post, and then got 4-year posting up in Townsville. First time up that north, and absolutely loved it.
Did you really?
Yeah, like once I got there and realised like what there was around there, like Airlie Beach, Whitsundays, Cairns, Port Douglas, Daintree, all that stuff.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Yeah.
Paradise.
Yeah, I guess if you're willing to do the trek around and stuff like that, like you do, then there's definitely a lot that's unseen that people don't get the opportunity to go out and experience. But if you're stuck just in the city, like if you lived mine and Will's lifestyle, you'd be sick of Townsville real quick, because we're just hermit crabs essentially.
Well, like Darnell and Alex, first time they got out of Townsville was to come to the Mackay comp and watch me. And I was just like, how long have you guys been here?
Yeah.
And they absolutely loved it. They're like, oh, we should get out more.
Yes.
What a treat going to Mackay.
Haven't got up in the tablelands and seen the big mango jack yet, so that's probably next on the cards. Yeah. Up in the Atherton tablelands, he reads is pretty awesome up there.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Couldn't be here this weekend. Didn't sell enough mangoes or something.
Yeah.
But so when you were in the army, you said you were PTI for what, 15 years?
Yeah, about 14, 15 years.
And
so physical training instructor.
Yeah, and
strength and conditioning coach, pretty much.
And I know you did a lot in there. Can you talk us through like your role there? Because obviously, like, when I think PTIs from Navy days, they're essentially glorified personal trainer and just run little group classes. But I know you climbed the ranks a little bit, and you had a little bit to do with more of the organizational structure and educational structure. And
yeah, well, I guess when I first come across to it, it was coming to recruit training, and it was pretty much take the guys from day dot, teach them all the skills, all the fitness that they need to. As you would know in the Navy, like those guys just take you through all the fitness.
Slam you, wear the short shorts.
Flog them into the ground, Wasn't a good
Your
session.
Baywatch shorts.
The tiny shorts, they're ridiculous.
Back then it wasn't a good session unless you had people crying, throwing up, or peeing their pants. Like,
well, that's recruit school, a bit different.
But we pretty much
that's
progressed
still
from there.
the traits that you carry over into today's sessions too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Nexus Performance Townsville, piss your pants.
Don't throw up on the equipment.
Yeah.
No. Keep it clean. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I guess sort of developed from there, and we become a bit more structured and got a bit more to the whole round physical training environment rather than just the endurance and muscular endurance and aerobic fitness. And probably about the last 7 to 8 years got heavily into like the strength training side of things and how we could develop soldiers that way. And yeah, they started seeing the benefits and the results straight away.
So what are some of the things that you changed to implement? Like what were like going from this just flog 'em style to like a structured style? Like obviously, like the thing I can think of on such a large scale like the army, like obviously you're not like us now and writing a program for somebody like a super duper individualized. Like you're writing it for, I guess, a big group of people. Yeah,
yeah, for a company or a platoon. Yeah, but I guess the one thing we've got with that is that whole unit or that platoon or company have to achieve the same goal.
Yeah.
So you can make it sort of group structured that way.
As in like more endurance or more like...
Yeah, it depends what their job role is.
Yeah.
So more endurance base, more speed, whatever they needed, more strength work.
Yeah.
And then you could individualize it by their percentages or RPE. So we relied heavily on that. But pretty much we just introduced, 3 main lifts each strength session and then some accessory work, pretty much just like a powerlifting session. Okay. So we went into...
I'm guessing with some endurance factors as well.
Yeah, so we went into, like, one day would have been a floor press, a deadlift, and a hang high pull. Some accessories for those, and then we did some maximal aerobic fitness stuff, or MAS, so maximal aerobic speed, just to finish up with.
Yeah.
And they'll pretty much have 2 to 3 strength days a week.
And they would just do those, or they're doing their own stuff outside it?
A lot of the guys would do their own stuff outside it, and then they'd have like a run session, a body weight conditioning session, and then a military battle PT session. So maybe some weight load marching, some obs course, some section work, stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty well rounded. You're trying to create real, like, just balance.
Yeah,
I guess.
Soldiers.
Like, yeah. Okay. But yeah, just balance across the different attributes, very different to powerlifting, where it's just all about strength, slow strength, and, you know, we're not worried about explosiveness that much or endurance much or whatever, you know, like we're very specific skilled. So,
yeah, definitely, like when I first come into it, like into the combat brigades or infantry units, it was just making hard hitting killers. That was the job.
Yeah. They had I think like one thing that we talk about in the podcast a lot and with Nexus a lot is that I think a lot of powerlifters go too hard in their program down the road of specificity year round, as in like just drilling SBD until just, you know, they can't move anymore, which works really well until it doesn't work, because your skill gets really fast really quickly at squat, bench and deadlift, and then soon you're limited by the things that you're left behind, whether it be endurance or whether, you know, muscular endurance or strength endurance or lots of these different things that powerlifters just simply don't do in their training. Like, have you carried any of the stuff that you did in the army and the different like different training style over into how you train now or how you train clients now?
Probably both, mate. Like definitely that endurance and capacity work I've tried to maintain. I know even with our programming together, we've tried to maintain it within my training as much as we can.
Yeah.
Just because it has such a carryover, not just to powerlifting or strength training, but in life in general.
Health. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the qualities, like when you're going out and exploring and stuff like that, you want to be able to do the 5K trail or whatever you want to get to the watering hole. to
get
wrestle
stuck in the
crocodile.
desert, car breaks down. Yeah. Yeah. So
then with the clients, same sort of thing. Just put a bit of that capacity work in the end, just so they can get that benefit from it.
Yeah, which has kind of served you well, because now you've pivoted a little. Actually, before we go there, like you've done the powerlifting side. You want to talk us through how long? Like when we started with powerlifting, whenever that was, 2015, 16, back then, and been doing powerlifting for quite a long time then, since. Between the stints in the army and all that, and then now kind of going into strongman a little bit. Like, give us like a little rundown, like best lifts in powerlifting, and then pivoting into strongman now, like you're hitting and that.
Yeah, so best lifts in powerlifting: 285 squat, 222.5 bench, and a 260 deadlift. with the strongman side of things. So I think that was probably towards the end of my last year that I was down here with you guys on the Gold Coast. We hit comp at Coco's gym.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ended up taking out the opens and that, which was pretty good for
Fucking
the
hot
first
day that
strongman
was.
comp.
That was a sweater of a day.
Yeah, I remember.
Best stone lift is 170.
What made you go into strongman? Like, what made you go from powerlifting and go like, this strongman thing looks cool? Like, what was the driver?
That was pretty much it. It looks cool. I thought it's still strength work. Let's give it a crack.
And it's also probably a lot more of a crossover between your previous training experience and history.
That's where I was going with it before.
Definitely. But I think the sports background and the military background have a big part to play in that all round strength work that strongman requires. And I just saw strong pretty much I didn't know what powerlifting was till I met you and we got into it, and then I saw what strongman was. I thought I'd give it a crack, and then I've probably done about 6 or 7 strongman comps now.
Yeah. Do you prefer strongman over powerlifting?
As
a competitor?
I love both as a competitor. Body definitely gets a lot bashed up more from strongman, like joints, ligaments, tendons. Whereas you might get a bit more CNS fatigue and a bit more DOMs from powerlifting.
Yeah.
But and I probably had more injuries from strongman as well.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off a bit, but that's part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. You've definitely rattled yourself with some injuries through. Didn't you tear your hamstring from your hip?
Yeah.
Not your knee?
Fractured hip and fully ruptured hamstring. So
yeah.
What was that from? How'd you do that?
Was it a bit of a piss load in the strongman?
Yeah, in the strongman event, trying to pick up the 185 kilo Atlas stone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Went to lap it and heard a big crack like a gunshot, and then bone fractured off my hip.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit off center or something like that. But strongman is quite I coach a few strongmen, and but I've never actually done strongman comps myself, and it is very general. I think a big mistake a lot of strongmen do is to really focus on their event work really, really hard, which is fine. You need to get good at them, just like any powerlifting. You need to get good at squat, bench, and deadlift. But it's a sport where you're not only going to do 1RMs, you're going to do
holds,
isometric stuff, endurance stuff, lots
max distance,
lots of different all-rounded stuff. So you have to kind of be a really good generalist, almost have a bit of everything, a bit of a crossfitter of the strength world.
I remember when we were working with Colin Wolf, we had the tie-in where you just basically statically he was already fucking strong, good total over 1,000 kilos as a powerlifter if he wanted to, but the movement stuff is what really let him down. So all he did to increase his speed and movement, he lived in New Zealand, so just went and did 5, 10K trails just to get aerobically fitter, and he just enjoyed that form of work capacity more than conditioning, cardio, whatever you want to call it, more than anything else, and that carried over largely. So instead of making him do multiple carries or any of that sort of stuff, it was how about you just get fitter as a human being, carrying 160 to 180 kilos on your frame, just get used to carrying that weight over a distance as opposed to 15 meters. So
let's talk about the coach side. So you did the PTI thing in the army and got out and got into coaching, civilians, whatever. How, what was that transition? What did that look like? You had a bit of skill development in there too.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to start with, just because all the professional development the army gave me, skill-wise and education-wise,
you've got
level
more
1, level 2 were probably
yeah.
some of the best courses I've done with the coaches I work with on those. And then it was probably the biggest part and change was in the army. I didn't have to sell myself. Knew how valuable you were, and they would listen and take it on board, especially when they saw the results. Whereas in the civvy world, you've got to sell yourself and provide that and make sure that people can understand that.
Yeah, in the army they don't have a choice.
No.
But I guess how you would train people would be a bit different as well. How you would speak to people. People definitely have a lot different, very hugely varied goals outside of it. Whereas, like you said, in the army, it's kind of similar to a degree. Some of the times, especially when you were doing the commercial gym stuff, would be just getting somebody come through the door and do their session is the majority year battle as a PT of Gen Pop. So it's
like, how would you describe the differences between when you're working at a commercial trainer at EMF versus like where we are now at Nexus and then the Army?
At EMF, I was pretty lucky because I was just the trainer for the PTs. So I just coached and trained all them. I didn't have to worry about clients or anything.
Right,
so
okay.
I was PT manager for all the gyms, and then I just run the boot camps morning and night.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much just Army fitness training.
Yeah. So that's what you did before versus when you went into just purely out of what was Valhalla, now Nexus.
Valhalla, now Nexus. It was pretty quiet to start with compared to what I was used to and the amount of clients I was training in the Army or like soldiers I was training. And then probably the biggest difference is just like Will said, just those varying goals and making sure I understood their goals and what they could do best to achieve them and help them get there.
Yeah, just building the relationships with the individuals as opposed to, like you said, working with large groups of 50 people and then they're all kind of working towards the same goal. So
yeah, and it all transfers over pretty well. Like if you can sit down with a commander of any rank level and you can tell him what you can do for his unit, it pretty much transfers the same over to an individual.
Yeah, for sure. It's just all relationship building, right, at the end of the day. So
slightly different ways.
You just need to hug more people versus.
And now you're obviously in the gym up there. We brought in a few new things. So you're running small group training up there. You're running one-on-one training up there, bringing people into competitions, and doing all the coaching out of Nexus Townsville, including some strongman coaching as well. How's that been so far?
Absolutely loving it. Hey, I think we're the busiest been up there over the last month. The small group stuff is just kicking off. Like the guys are getting awesome results.
Yeah, people love it.
We've got a couple of guys train up for a novice comp up there at the start of next month. And then there's one of the girls is doing an Ironman in a couple of weeks. And then we've got a fair few training up for the APL comp that we're running up there.
Yeah.
I think that'll be huge. That's September.
It's all progressing. Yeah, it's all progressing pretty well. And then obviously North Queensland Strongest, where we got pretty much every strongman in the gym is training up for that.
Yeah. We've done a lot of work to make that kind of as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Already learned a few lessons in the organisation, so I'm sure it'll be better again next year. But it's looking to really be a really big comp. We've got a few sponsors on board for that already.
I was talking to Will about this the other day. Artie's done an incredible job bringing on some really good sponsors for that. So the Recovery Labs up there has jumped on as our head sponsor, and then we've got 4-Wheel Drive Central donating cars for the deadlift, car deadlift event.
Couple of different cars.
Yeah. And then it's just also just other, like Townsville being a smaller community, I feel like local businesses are a lot more willing to support, contribute, donate, get around it to make events like, I mean, at the end of the day, strongman is a unique sport. It is a little bit more of a spectacle than what powerlifting is. People don't have to understand the rules to be able to be impressed by what's going on. It is a really cool, entertaining thing. And that's why, like, moving forward, making NQ Strongest like a really good pinnacle. And it's a great time of the year in Townsville. Like the 29th of July, it's smack bang in the middle of some of those cooler months. So it's actually going to be a lot more comfortable for people to prep and compete and be outdoors and that sort of stuff up there. So I'm really looking forward to that event and hopefully bringing more and more strongman to that Townsville space up there, because it's 3 times the size of the gym here. So we've got room. We've got that big undercovered area out the back thanks to Ross at the EDE events. And now we've been in communication with bringing on some more strongman equipment up there as well. So all the sponsorship,
flesh it out.
All that contribution money just goes towards bringing in more equipment to then be able to offer more for you guys in terms of your coaching capabilities to bring some of those athletes to other strongman events around the country, but also just make strongman in North Queensland just even more of a prevalent thing, because it's a huge community up in that gym.
I love strongman. The problem strongman has is it's just hard to access.
Yes.
As in, like, you can do powerlifting if you have to, obviously not ideal, but you could do it at literally any gym because every gym has a barbell that has weights, has, you know, you can do a squat, you can do a deadlift, you can do a bench, even on the crappiest of benches. And yeah, you can get pretty damn strong that way. I did. Spent all the way up until my first comp was at a gym with bent bars and definitely not even close to standard comp benches.
And plates that weren't the right height.
And different sized plates on the bar and the deadlift. You can go back and watch them on my Instagram. But yeah, lastly, just want to go through like your upcoming comps for yourself. So what are you hitting next?
Yeah, so 1st of July, myself and a couple of the other boys from Nexus Townsville, there's a bench-only comp coming up in Townsville with Bench Kings. I think
Kings.
Metal Militia are running it.
Yep.
So,
Get wild.
Yeah. Equipped and raw. So me and Sean, we're going in raw, so it should be a pretty good comp for us.
Raw dogging.
I don't want to. I can't be bothered programming quick stuff, so thank you for that.
And then, yeah, we might have a look at nationals and go head to head with you in the 110s.
Shot calling.
Jesus, it's calling us out. All right.
He's got the medal around his neck now, Willies. He's coming for you.
His confidence.
No, I think that Nationals event is going to be a really fun day as well.
You'll be down in Newcastle. I can't wait to go back.
Well, it's got the home advantage.
Yeah.
Hometown advantage.
A little bit of home ground.
Yeah.
Well, where what was his name again?
Candos. It's a bit further west and south of Singleton, or Newcastle, but I also lived in Singo for 5 years, so
yeah,
it's pretty close.
Oh.
Out near, is it Musselbrook?
Musselbrook, that's where I was from. Yeah.
Mining town. Musselbrook still exists.
Musselbrook Rams. Yep.
Played for the Rams for a while.
I think we beat him in a grand final.
Oh.
I wasn't on that team, mate.
No, you were probably still not even born yet.
I was in the grades few below that.
Jason's our resident senior citizen.
Geez.
Probably fitter than most of
Definitely
the coaches.
fitter than everyone. And then very lastly, last thing to bring up, I think, is your tattoo. I don't think we can go an episode without bringing up the tattoo.
This fucking tattoo.
So I guess you won't be able to see it on that no matter how hard you try. But we can definitely.
We'll flash. Yeah, let's see. I'll see. Sorry for those who are watching, but talk us through this this tattoo.
It's on a audio medium. It's a little hard to describe, but if you can give us
zoom in on his crotch.
Oh, great angle.
There we go. Ready?
So basically, Jordan and Zach were talking about a Nexus tattoo, and I know Will likes ibises, and Jordan and Zach talked up an ibis. So I was just like,
there we go. Can you zoom in? Yeah.
Went and hit up my tattooist, Dan, at Dead Man's Hand. I was like, just do me up a Jack Nexus ibis, punching out some squats, and that's what we come up with, and it's awesome.
Yeah, love that he's got the knee wraps on, full dedication. Is it knee wraps?
Yeah, knee wraps.
Get some knee wraps on there.
He's got knee wraps, and he's squatting the same amount as what Jason does as well.
A little bit lighter. I mean,
he didn't want to have him.
Ibis has got smaller legs. Yeah.
He's got that is a jacked leg ibis, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely just the craziest tattoo we've got. There's 3 Nexus tattoos out there floating around now.
Yes, there is. Yeah, because Kirby
shortly
after felt like she was being left out, so she's went and got a tattoo.
More committed than us.
Yeah, we haven't got tattoos.
The coaches are going after it now.
Yeah, jeez, because Will doesn't have a single tattoo though. So in his defense, he always said he'd never get a tattoo because there was anything that meant.
I said not until there was something worth it. Like
something that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, I wasn't just going to go and get a fucking random
ibis.
You don't start with the ibis. I'm sure that your first one meant a lot more.
Yeah, the first ones were over, then let's get some random ones.
I feel that's how it goes.
Pretty sure that leg's just full of random ones now.
Yes, yeah, there definitely is some random things on there. But we have discussed you getting a tattoo. We're going to get Tank and Ark and memorabilia tattooed on us. And then I have thought about maybe getting just like the little X, the dumbbell X's. Just get that right across the top of your forehead here, or like eyebrow. Maybe in the middle, like get a monobrow X. Just join the eyebrows together fully.
Can't imagine that's very comfortable.
No, but no head tattoos. Thank you very much.
Cool.
See how we go. All right, cool. Well, yes, thank you very much for jumping on, Jason. We've obviously randomly sprung this on you.
All good.
We also didn't mention the toes either, Will.
That's all right.
Fluorescent pink fucking pedicure toes.
Pink toenails, crop tops. You got it all here, fashionista.
Wednesday was me and Donnell went out for a birthday and got petties.
Yeah. Staff dates. Love it. See, this is the stuff that makes me proud.
This is the community. Go out and get pedicures together.
Don't hug, but pedicures all about that.
Love it. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for jumping on, Jason. And if anyone is in North Queensland, Townsville, be sure to head in and check out our facilities up there. Meet Jason in the flesh.
Or if you know anybody out there, because if you're listening to this and you don't go to the gym, you live there, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But if you do know anybody there,
tell them to pop in,
Absolutely.
say hello, say good day.
Yeah.
If not, Jason is also available for some online support and assistance for any strongman and powerlifters out there looking to get into the sport, improve their aerobic capacities.
or if you're jumping into the army and you want somebody to yell at you a bit, get you ready for it.
Make you piss yourself. Jason is your man.
Yeah, you got to train up that quality. Got to get up there early.
Ladder holds. All right. Thanks, guys.
Red hot.
Thank you for listening to Nexus Unloaded. Be sure to jump on our website to find details on everything mentioned on today's podcast, plus information on our coaching, mentoring, and gym services. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at NexusPerformance.Aus for any updates on what we are currently doing. See you all in the next episode.